Twilight's Nightmare, Chapter 30, Part 3. Hours later, the partygoers had all gone. Rarity had snuck out with a bundle of cloth that was likely the rest of the banner bundled up in her magic. Candace was still slightly curious what the rest of it had said. There seemed to be something on Twilight's mind as Twilight led them deeper into the castle. The sound of their hooves on the crystal being higher pitched was so different than the marble she was used to back in Canterlot.
So, how'd you like your arrival at the party? Can you figure out how it was done?
Twilight asked, smiling.
It was unexpected. Insight seems to be able to talk with the castle. I can communicate my emotions and intentions, it seems, and we got a "you shouldn't make the ponies wait" kind of message from it. I'm thinking the castle did it. If the castle happens to be its own protected pocket dimension, then it might just be able to decide where anything is on the inside. So it seems the castle likes you.
Twilight said with a curious glint in her eyes.
It seems that way. Insight says that she gets a feeling of home here.
Candace agreed, and Twilight cast her eyes to the ceiling.
Strange that my apartment never once felt how I would imagine home would feel.
Candace said.
I was gonna keep her anyway.
Twilight almost yelled to the ceiling before continuing under her breath, so quiet only Candace's enhanced hearing could let her catch it.
Stupid rocks.
Candace once again raised an eyebrow, this time at the "stupid rocks" comment. Twilight noticed that she had been heard. Some of the good mood from the party fled Twilight.
It seems that you are another pony given to me by the Tree of Harmony.
Candace pondered for a brief moment.
Sorry, I'm not sure I understand.
Twilight laughed. It seemed off, perhaps a little manic.
How would I be connected to the Tree of Harmony?
Candace continued.
That the tree-given castle talks to you is enough of a clue. It only talks to myself and my little star. And now, you. The tree likes playing with ponies. Oh, I didn't know that. Luna was sentenced to 1,000 years on the moon just so I would use the elements on her, thereby getting myself pregnant with my daughter.
Twilight said, cutting herself off with a brief shudder.
Something tells me that I'm getting a full briefing at some point.
Candace said with an undertone of worry. She moved nearer to Twilight, at least as they walked, offering comfort with proximity. Twilight took a long breath.
For now, all you need to know is that it likes manipulating ponies just like Celestia does.
Candace raised an eyebrow yet again. There was a lot of things causing that to happen today.
And the most frustrating thing is that I can't be angry at it.
Twilight stomped her hoof, sending a few chips of crystals into the air.
I love my little star. I get Luna. I get everything I ever wanted.
Twilight trailed off into a disturbing mix of hysterical laughter and sobbing. Something inside of Twilight's gaze was broken. Again, she was almost a different mare. But that didn't matter. Her love was hurting. Candace might not understand what Twilight was going through, but that didn't matter. She would be there for her. She wrapped her love in a tight embrace with her hoofs and wings. As soon as Candace's wings wrapped around her, Twilight calmed and melted into the hug.
Hey, I know I don't yet understand what you've been through, but maybe I can help when I do. Until then, I'm here for you at least.
Candace whispered into Twilight's ear. Twilight didn't say or do anything for a few long minutes. Slowly, life seemed to come back to her. Twilight tenderly nuzzled Candace, ending in a single gentle kiss.
Thank you.
She whispered.
Anytime. I don't care if I'm asleep. If you need some pony to just hold you, I'm here. You need to vent about anything at all? I'm here. You just want to know that you're loved? I'm here.
Candace quietly stated as she looked into Twilight's eyes. A sincere smile and another nuzzle displayed how happy Twilight was at that sentiment.
I can also make decent pancakes too, if those suit your fancy.
Candace said, trying to lift Twilight's mood even further. Twilight's ears pricked up at the mention of pancakes. Candace knew what she was doing in the morning.
Oh, I'm keeping you.
Twilight almost purred.
I'm okay with this.
Candace said with humor, but also honesty in her voice. Twilight looked thoughtfully at her. Candace showed a smile full of love, yet with no expectations. Twilight asked,
How do you know when you're in love? I'm new to all of this.
Her face showed clear curiosity, and Candace smiled a bit more.
For me, love is wanting another to be happy, even if it means not getting what I want. If you asked me to leave you because that would make you happy, then I would do so. I would be heartbroken, but I would do it because I knew that you would be happier that way. I'll be here for you in whatever way you need me, whichever way you want me. All you have to do is ask.
A heartbeat later, and Twilight's mane was engulfed in flames. The flames didn't burn, rather they made Candace's skin tingle in the most pleasant of ways. Twilight flicks her body seductively and invitingly.
Show me how much you love me then?
For a moment, it almost seemed as if Twilight surprised herself by saying that.
Sorry.
She closed her eyes, and the flames slowly died down and extinguished over a few minutes. Candace still held her, as Twilight brought herself under control.
Does this help? knowing that I won't take advantage of you for my own pleasure.
Twilight relaxed against Candace.
Even if you thought you were taking advantage, it would be me taking advantage of you. But thank you.
Candace stroked Twilight's mane with her wing.
You can't take advantage of me. All I ask is that you tell me when you're calm, that it's what you want and that it'll make you happy. You do that and I will be yours in any way you want me.
The flames burst back into existence. Each point that they touched on Candace felt like they were kissing her. The very fire driving Twilight started to stir desire in Candace. Twilight nuzzled into Candace's neck before asking,
Any way I want? Yes, any way you want, just as long as you can tell me that it is what you want when you are calm and without the fire in your mane. Whether that's alongside you in the lab or making love in your room. Just as long as it's your rational side telling me that and not your passions driving you.
Candace said while still holding Twilight. The flames vanished, leaving Twilight looking dazed. Candace cocked her head to the side.
Are you alright? I think you just talked my passion into letting me have a clear head for this choice.
Twilight said in a puzzled tone, before letting out a short, heartfelt laugh. It was like a huge weight was lifted from her.
Alright, I can agree to those terms. So, fancy spending some time in the lab, seeing what exactly Luna did to you?
Twilight asked, with a twinkle in her eyes. A nod and a light kiss on the nose was all the communication Candace needed to show her approval of the suggestion. They headed deeper into the castle, reaching one of Twilight's secondary labs. On the way, they passed heavily warded doors to the main lab. It seemed even an alicorn would have trouble breaking in. As soon as the doors to the smaller lab closed, securing their places, Candace asked.
Question, would you be able to cast a thoughts to voice spell and hook it up to insight so she can contribute without having to go through me? Sorry, no mind control spells work in the castle.
Anger flashed in Twilight's eyes for a moment.
Let me guess, Celestia?
Candace reasoned with her own voice, showing a hint of wariness.
Yes.
Twilight said, letting out a long, drawn-out breath. She schooled her voice and body language again.
What has Luna told you? Not just what she told me, but also what I've seen for myself. Luna said that her sister is rather free with her use of mind reading. Also, the solar oath is magically reinforced with an effect that isn't noticed as it settles in over a great length of time. Several decisions of mine during my 22 years in RGIS were skewed in Celestia's favor because of that magic influencing my mind. I wouldn't have been perturbed by it if it was known that it would be part of the oath, but no. It was hidden until she pulled it from my wellspring. I suspect that there is far more to that, however. The only thing I am certain of is that the day I left the Solar Guard is the day my trust in Celestia started to dwindle.
Candace finished her statement. Her body language showed that she wished it wasn't true, but she couldn't escape the facts.
Well, let's just say what she did to me was worse. She didn't just read my mind, no, she made it.
Twilight said. As Twilight continued to explain, Candace listened with rapt attention. She wasn't happy that her fears of Celestia were actually being confirmed. As Twilight went on, Candace's anger grew. When Twilight told her that it was to save Equestria, Candace's anger faltered, but it was still there. She could see why Celestia did it. She very much disagreed with the method, though. Candace still had anger for how it was approached. The lack of explanation, or even being given a choice in the matter, incensed her. The fact that it was the Warlock's fault did dampen the feelings towards Celestia a bit, though. Candace didn't miss the fact that Twilight was being vague about the Temple of the Hidden Path. When Twilight shuddered, Candace just moved in and hugged her. No words, just being there. Again, the touch of feathers calmed her. Before too long had passed, Twilight moved things towards the reason they were here. Research. With Candace being a willing test subject, she and Twilight had started running every sort of test and scanning spell either of them could think of on Candace's body. After that, they moved on to poring over notes about magic and science. Twilight watched with interest as Candace cast her unique spellcraft. Each of her spells was made up of lots of smaller ones, chained together in ways that would require a doctorate's degree in magic to start to understand. There was a net gain in efficiency, but a considerable increase in complexity. They were also weaker against disruption, counterspells, and magical flux. As time moved on, they continued to explore the qualities of magic and delve into the mysteries of the universe. Honestly, Candace was having the time of her life. She was really starting to wonder if it was possible for things to get any better. After a few hours, Twilight mumbled.
No, I'm not going to turn her into a book.
Candace perked her ears in Twilight's direction.
While I would very much appreciate not being turned into a book, I would have no problem with you reading me like one.
Twilight looked hungrily at Candace. Candace looked her levelly in the eyes.
Twilight, if this is what you want, you just need to say so. You know my one condition. There is definitely a part of me that wants this, wants you.
Twilight said as she pressed against Candace, and Twilight trailed kisses along Candace's neck. Candace held her as she looked for flames. her own desire started to seriously spike.
You claim to be able to tend ley lines. I will have at least that tonight.
Twilight purred.
As you wish.
Candace said as she gave Twilight a kiss in return. Twilight lit her horn and let her magic flow into Candace, allowing her to feel her desire. The energy was shaped, and one crack of magic later, they were both falling on Twilight's large bed and a tangle of hooves and wings, the kiss still unbroken. As they slowed down enough to untangle themselves, Candace moved to lead Twilight to lay down with her wings spread. A wash of white magic coated Twilight as every foreign contaminant was pleasantly removed from her body and sent to the waste bin. After that, she cast a spell to highlight the nervous system so she could see where Twilight was tense. She concentrated on those areas with a not unskilled, but not quite unprofessional level of hoof massage. Twilight closed her eyes and let out a pleased coo. The tension in her body started to melt away. Yeah, it was bound to happen eventually, but hey, they finally did it. Or, well, at least part of it. Anyways, let's get on to our passionate donators. Top donators are 630, Peter Coulthard, J Tinman, Darkside, Only One Thing, and Dash of Evergreen. Rayden, Narwhals, Black Moonheart, Pastel Skies, Austin Rollins, Crazy Color 557, Stu Hex, Sword Brother and Mordred, Omicron Library, Will, Chris Twinkie, Hadzaza, Rightful, Maverick, Iron Sky, Badass Waffle, and many more awesome people. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and live life to the fullest.